Love is primal attraction and a strong long-term, unconditional commitment. Chapter 1. The Soppy emotion. Love is easy. Love the one you're with. What's love? It's a fantasy in your mind. This book is about the reality of existential loneliness. Every relationship is a compromise. If you can't handle compromising your time and your space, your relationship will be doomed. Society brainwashes us to think a relationship will make us happy. Happiness is really about earning self-respect. In the old days, people stayed in marriages no matter what. Nowadays, they would rather divorce than deal with trying to work on it, but the thing is, if two people are committed to working on the relationship rather than focusing on themselves as the center of the universe, marriages can grow and get better. That's the thing. We're all self-centered by nature. Some of us can get beyond it and focus on the happiness of others. Many people can't. This is where lots of marriages fail, the my way or the highway syndrome. It's self-centeredness and ego. A lot of people know what they have to do to be nice and good, but they just don't or can't do it, so the marriage deteriorates because they don't have the guts to open up and reach out. Surrender some of your individuality and ego to the relationship. Why did you get married in the first place if you have such a big, self-centered ego? I presume it was to share your life and love someone other than yourself. A lot of men have a hard time showing emotion and love except through doing practical things and giving money. If you marry someone, you gotta make an effort to talk to them about things that matter for at least 5 minutes a day. That's all it takes. 5 minutes is enough to keep an emotional connection going. You have to truly believe that together, you are happier than if you were two individuals alone. You have to have that mindset that two is better than one, that each adds to the relationship in such a mix that it adds to the chemistry between the two of you in a beautiful, magnificent way. Marriage can't be this little box you do out of cultural indoctrination to have a spouse there so people don't think you're weird and you have a date to go to social functions with. You have to both believe that you're better off for being together, that you help each other and give each other joy day by day. People don't read minds. You ask your spouse, what can I do to be a better husband or wife? Teach me what I should do to show you I love you. That's what true love is, keeping this initial attraction going for the rest of your lives. Not many people do it, but some do. Every day I wake up and go off to pursue my physical and creative activities to purge that energy that lives inside of me. After I do this to my satisfaction to reach my standard for the day, I go off to relax and pursue my loving relationships. It is a formula to some extent. I know what I have to do to stay inspired my life, and I know how to keep an emotional connection with the people in my life strong. I'm kind, loving, low-key, never brash or arrogant. I speak in quiet tones and resist the urge to lash out when someone gets on my nerves. Sometimes when I'm tired or weak, I seem to lose patience. I feel like lashing out, but after so many years of living, I got it down to an art form. I just keep my mouth shut and outwardly continue to act loving so no one notices my pissy mood, then it passes and everything is fine. If I had acted on every pissy mood I get, I'd be in jail for murder, but I'm cool enough to live and let live, accept the people in my life as they are, make no demands on them, just try to be a pleasant person, because after all, if your house is not a bastion of peace or love, what is? Where else are you gonna find peace and love? I treat my pets with more love than most people get. I simply try to treat people like I treat my pets, with absolute unconditional love. I'm always actively loving them, talking to them, playing with them, feeding them, letting them lead me around, showing me what they want. It's not a stretch to see that loving people is the exact same process. I've read more psychobabble books at hashtag 155-158 and hashtag 306.7, love books, at the library than most people, and the further I go in life, the more they appear as a bunch of verbal diarrhea to me. The reason to me is that mostly counselors, therapists and psychologists write these books. That's how they make their money, by counseling people and mulling over their past, so it's in their best interests to complicate life, Make it seem like there's some deep, advanced reasons for your misery stemming from childhood, and to promote the agenda that they know something that you don't know, and for a fee, they can impart this wisdom on you over X number of sessions to fix you and your marriage. But the older I get, the more I realize it's a load of bull. All that matters is to be kind, loving and gentle day by day. It's just like my formula to stay inspired. It's very simple. Love is easy if you're a naturally loving person. Love the one you're with. Spend time with them. You just have to be loving to one of your intimates or a pet for 5 minutes a day, which is more love than most people give or get according to studies on relationships between couples and parents with their children. They say that most people spend less than 5 minutes a day actively doing something with their loved ones, as opposed to doing something passive like sitting in the same room watching TV, eating in the same room, or driving in the car listening to the radio. All you have to do is talk to your loved ones for a few minutes, or be affectionate with them by hugging, playing, or doing something together in order to maintain a close, emotional connection. It doesn't take much to get and keep a loving connection if your heart is in the right place. Most of us want at least one love connection a day. It rounds out an overall good state of being. You can read all the psychobabble you want about your wounded, inner child. It doesn't matter to me, firstly because I don't believe my past has anything to do with anything. I believe I was born with a certain essence, and my life is to manifest it regardless of whether my childhood was great or crappy. It doesn't matter. All I am is this essence, and I live to honor it. That negates all the psychobabble in the world, because I live now in the present and I live to create my life every single day. Love is easy. I am a loving person. When I get angry at something, which I occasionally do as everyone does, I don't use my loved ones as punching bags or dumping grounds. I have learned well through reading the book of Proverbs many times over the years. Keep your damn mouth shut. The tongue has been the cause of the most misery on this planet between people since the beginning of the human race. Proverbs tells you to keep your mouth shut when you're feeling angry over and over again, and I learned that lesson well, which is why I'm considered, or at least I think I am considered, a loving person, because I'm warm, gentle, low-key, as opposed to acting arrogant, and I try to be kind all the time. It ain't rocket science. I'm not afraid to be humble. I had no choice anyway by living all those years as an artist, more interested in my free time than working a job, so I didn't have much money, which meant that I had no power in the world, so my position was one of serf, so I had to be humble because I had nothing to show off with. It served me well because my happiness is all within me. I have no need to show others how cool and mighty I am. I'm not so deficient that I have to dominate my girlfriend or anyone else. I'm fine as is without having to fish for compliments or get others to give me attention because I think I'm so special. Be like this and your loved ones will love you. If you want to be loved, be loving. I don't know why you pick a certain person to be your mate, but now it's done, so I presume you're committed to the relationship, which means you have to accept this person for who they are and work on loving them day after day. You have to make that emotional connection every day. Some days it will just be warm, but that's enough. Other days it will be good to great. The problem starts when there is no emotional connection day after day after day, and it builds up. The greatest cause of misery on planet Earth within individuals in our modern, Western countries, where we're not worrying about basic survival all the time. It is that we lose the connection to our true natures by not constantly releasing our inherent, natural energy. This unused energy sits inside of us and builds up over time, such that we lose ourselves and get depressed, which is far away from the people we really want to be. It's the same with a relationship. Not culturing the release of your loving energy onto your loved ones day by day will eventually cause a sense of inner disharmony within you and a break with the other people. But the funny thing about relationships is that for a lot of them, but not for all of them, you could treat someone like a bastard or be treated like a bitch, but as soon as one side starts being kind, there can be a lot of forgiveness and some love can come back. I happen to believe in the too much water under the bridge, crossing the threshold of the unforgivable moment theory of love, which is that if you go too far in criticism and meanness, something will break permanently and you'll never get it back. But if the issue is just one of quiet inattention, it's easy to get it back just by starting to be nice. Scrooge wasn't particularly mean. He just wasn't kind. He never really insulted his workers and relatives. He was just a Scrooge with his money, so when he decided to be good, there were no bad memories to forgive except that he was a tightwad. This is where I suspect most troubled relationships are. The husband has not really hurt the wife in a mean way. He just doesn't do much in a kind, loving way. It's easy to solve this. Simply be kind, loving and attentive to your lover's happiness day by day. Get over your ego and the power plays to be simply kind and loving. Don't live for the fantasy of who you want your loved ones to be. Live for who they actually are with all their foibles and limitations, which is what the human race is, a bunch of imperfect people. If I want to live in a perfect relationship, I would have to be a loner and live in a fantasy world of my own creation, but if I agree to a relationship with anyone, it means or should mean I'm willing to try for a real relationship in the real world, which will not be perfect but can be great if we both love each other and try to be good to each other. You don't have to sit around talking deeply, analyzing each other. Just be loving. I take my dogs out for a walk with my girlfriend every night, no matter what. Even when it rains, we still go out. It's only water. It's revitalizing to walk in the rain with the one you love, which is a line from an old song by the group called The Fifth Dimension, I believe. You talk a bit every day. You relate, you empathize, you understand. You have fun together. You do pleasurable and spontaneous things as a couple. You're connected. Simply do this every day. Love is not this big, grandiose all or nothing moment. It's little kindnesses day after day forever. If you're messed up as a person or don't know who you are, that puts a wrench into everything because you will not react to love like a mentally healthy person would. You might be afraid of it because you're afraid to reveal your true feelings of inadequacy. In this case, I advise you to read my Free Spirits book, which will help you find your true identity. Unenlightened people who do not have a strong sense of their identities cannot experience a truly loving relationship because they have a lot of anger and frustration within themselves as a result of not feeling good about who they are. This is why I believe that many troubled relationships have almost nothing to do with the relationship itself. The relationship is just the dumping ground for a messed up individual's problems. That's why I'm a judge of character. When I meet someone, I intuitively try to sense if they got it together or not. Do they know their own identities? Are they comfortable in their skin? I met some nice girls when I was younger, but they were weak. The hassles of trying to please their dysfunctional personalities weren't worth it to me because they drained with excessive requests for my love, my attention, my time, my money, etc. Nowadays, I'm willing to accept a young girl's naivete, but I want to see that she has a natural sense of inner happiness about herself. If she ain't got that sense that she's taking her life for a great ride no matter what, I don't want to get involved with her. I don't care how pretty she is. For a casual relationship it doesn't matter, but for a relationship, don't bother with messed up people unless you're a masochist. You can't save anyone. They have to save themselves before it's possible for you to love them in the ideal sense. Love does not equal happiness. Society teaches us that the greatest barrier to happiness is being on your own, but the truth is that most marriages are bad to average and you spend most of your time alone in your own head, so all these lonely people are creating their own misery by thinking they need someone in order to be happy. We launch ourselves into relationships and make major commitments not for love alone but also because we are needy and depressed. Wanting love and happiness, we look to others to make up for what we believe we lack. A committed partnership can be wonderful, but it's still about you finding happiness within yourself. The commandments of love. Be nice to each other. Love each other. Be romantic. Be honest. Be real. Don't put on airs. Be relaxed. Be sensitive. Empathize with your lover and act accordingly. Don't pressure your partner into doing something they don't want to do or being someone they don't want to be. Have sex or at least intimacy, non-intercourse affection, at least once a week. If you have kids, read my family book or other books at number 649 at the library. If money is an issue, read my money book or other books at number 332 at the library. Take care of your health for yourself and to look attractive to your lover. Don't abuse your lover. Either try to resolve an unfulfilled marriage or end it. Talk to each other. Say what's on your mind if it's bugging you. A relationship goes through cycles. Sometimes it's hot. Sometimes it's not. Don't compare yourself or your love life with the scenes of movies because they're choreographed. Your life is not. Intimacy is developed, not bought. Love, the great hazy romantic notion. Love is keeping your own individual identity while maintaining a loving partnership with your lover. It's a compromise at times, but overall, you have room for both in your life. Love is making time for that person because you love them no matter how busy you are or how much you're into your own pursuits. Love is respect, courtesy, and thoughtfulness. Love is accepting your lover for who he or she is and loving him or her for that or despite it. You accept both the good and the bad in your lover. If you take away the romance and comfort of the relationship and replace it with hardship, you still care about each other. You can say virtually anything, express yourself without fear of being judged. Love feels good. You feel good about yourself, your lover and the relationship. Over a lifetime, the concept of love in a relationship changes as the people change. When you're young and passionate, love is intense and all-encompassing. This is generally the way it is anytime you fall in love regardless of age, but if two people stay together for 20 or more years, the passion might stay in some cases, but usually it goes to be replaced by a more friendship, comfort type thing. This is good because it's a mature love that becomes tempered by age and wisdom. Romantic love is different from all other types of love. It may not be as strong as a mother's or father's love for their children or the children's love for their parents, or it could be, but the fact remains that it's different qualitatively. There's nothing quite like romantic love that naturally releases endorphins in the body and makes a person feel euphoric and on high. In its purest form, romantic love is person worship, a meld of respecting, admiring, loving and lusting after that one special person all at once and virtually all the time. Love is a euphoric emotion. It's not rational. You can't really plan for true love. It happens when you least expect it. The word sacrifice is derived from the word sacred. Regardless of what you want to call it, when you're truly in love, you're willing to make sacrifices for that person. You put his or her needs and wants at least on par with yours and sometimes even higher, such is the nature of love. Love will make you sacrifice yourself, the theme of many, many movies, people doing courageous, unselfish things in the name of love. As they say, love conquers all. When you're really in love, you can't imagine your life without this person. In most love affairs, the lovers are interchangeable. People break up and divorce all the time, then 6 months later they're with someone else. A true, pure love isn't like this. It's not just a pragmatic relationship of a sex partner and someone to help pay the bills and go out to social events with. You've given your soul to this person and love the soulmate connection. You feel complete. You don't care about the stuff in the outside world, the fame, status, illusions of grandeur, pop culture, tourist travel, etc. The love, along with your own inspired life as an individual, are enough to keep you satisfied with your life. Well, almost, but not quite. Men need a few porno videos or some other outlet for their sex drive as well. You know you're in love when other attractive people come onto you and you don't flinch. You just think more and more about that special someone. It's just you and your lover on cloud 9 together. As long as you're with each other, no matter how tough the world outside gets, everything is fine. You just want to hold each other for hours on end. The Great Fallacy, a movie kind of love. How well does anyone really know anyone else? Does anyone really know anyone else? Is it possible to really know anyone else? Most of us get some love in our lives, but we are set up by our cultures to want something more, to want the great Fred Astaire Ginger Rogers love affair, the great beach scene in the Thornbirds or the great rescue in An Officer and a Gentleman, but few of us get this kind of love, if any of us, because real life is so much more regular, mundane, and complicated than this. Just the struggle to pay bills, keep a reasonable career while raising kids and keeping the relationship on even ground is enough for most of us. It's like depression. A lot of people set themselves up for depression in a capitalist world by setting these high achievement status-oriented goals for themselves, which are standards they got from outside of themselves, from their culture, as opposed to following their souls day by day, which is all you really own anyway, life day by day, and being happy with it. The pursuit of love is the same. Either single people looking for love or people in regular relationships are not happy because they don't have the movie kind of love they think others have, commonly as a matter of course day by day, but they don't. The pop culture media constantly blasts great love stories and stories of wealthy, high-class celebrity-type people at us. I believe the hidden agenda behind all of this is to make the common masses jealous, think the grass is greener on the other side, so that they will work harder, aspire to lofty, ambitious goals within society's structure, and as a result, spend money trying to achieve these two ends. Look attractive, trendy, and classy enough to attract a great lover. Be rich, wealthy, and demand status and attention as a very important special person by your very presence. The problem is that it's all a lie, because happiness comes from within yourself. People in general are too self-centered to recognize others as special, except for lost souls looking to latch onto something. In general, people have contempt for others trying to act uppity and prima donna-like, so why bother trying to impress others or trying to enter a certain social class? It's your life in your head. Be happy with yourself. This is one of the biggest problems in a pop culture capitalist world. Everybody trying to come off to everybody else that they're the center of the universe. If you could break with this precedent that you are the center of the universe to help others along with the delusion that they're the center of the universe, you will, at the very least, be more popular and have more friends. But in my opinion, you only get great love when there are two people who may feel quite special within themselves as individuals, but recognize that there are other people out there. They are not the center of the universe. Everybody wants to feel special, so live and let live. Pure lovers have a kind of maturity where they're willing to let go of this self-centered need most of us have to be admired, showered with compliments, and told we're great, which to me is an infantile kind of love common to the current Western idea of love. It's like Paul says in the book of Corinthians. You love them at least as much as you love yourself, and strive to make them happy without forethought of your own happiness or what's in it for you. Unless you can be like this in real life, don't expect a movie kind of love. To get love, give love. I've seen great passionate movie-type love affairs. Often it's the guy taken by the girl. He thinks she's so beautiful and wonderful, but if not requited, if she sits on a self-centered pedestal thinking she's a prima donna, it's doomed. It will fizzle out. Two people have to simply love each other all the time by doing little acts of kindness and love for one another constantly every day. In order to add passion to it, I believe you need enough self-respect to take care of yourself physically to look good for your partner. Don't just pour the makeup on and wear trendy clothes. Eat the right foods, exercise, get some sun, etc. Beyond that, do those romantic things if that's what you want. Go to the beach together, take dancing lessons, watch love movies together and try to imitate them, etc. In order to get over the capitalist ideal of envying others who have more wealth and greater love affairs than you, simply be thankful for what you got right now. Unless you've taken a walk through a children's cancer ward lately or walked through the slums of Tijuana, Mexico, you don't have a clue as to what real hardship is. We, in the West, are so spoiled and brainwashed, to want these images we see in the media, presented to us to make us envious so that we will become good little capitalist clones aspiring for these things when we don't realize it's all an illusion. We don't really know how others really live day by day. Is it that much more different than you? How high can you really go in life? How can you keep yourself inspired minute by minute, day by day? How much does this have to do with wealth and the relationship you're in? A big part of happiness is you alone in your solitary thoughts and feelings regardless of the outside world around you. The happier you can make yourself alone away from everything on the planet, the better off you'll be and the greater the chances you will have to meet a great lover who will be attracted to your happiness if that's what you want. But I don't wait for great love or work for a mansion on a hill. The free time to do with as I please is my great prize in life. Free time is my measure of my personal wealth, that I do as I please without being hassled by the world. I live day by day as happy, full, and inspired as I can be. I'm simply not swayed by the pop culture images for glamour on TV. In fact, I rarely watch the stuff. What you fill your head up with is who you are. I live a spiritual, sensual, hedonistic, inspired life in my own way on my own terms. Day by day, I follow my own internal standard. I don't concern myself with thoughts of how sad or incomplete I must be because I don't have a great love affair like some character in a romance novel. I know what is intense and transcendent in life. Great, passionate, romantic love is just one of the several activities that will take you there. It's nice but not the be-all, end-all. The reason I wrote this article is because I heard a story on the radio about some woman poet who killed herself, and then when they were going through her notes, her friends found that she revealed how lonely she was, that she didn't have this great, poetic love affair. To them, she looked like she lived a good life. She had lots of friends, was popular, had a good teaching job, went out to social functions and loved dancing, but none of it seemed to be enough for her. Nobody knows the exact reason of why she ended it, but if she would have been thankful for her life and grateful that of all the societies in the world past and present, she lived in the best society of all, one of the several Anglo-Saxon, capitalist societies in the 21st century, she wouldn't have had the sadness and deficiency about not being in a movie kind of love. So get over it, it's not real. There are very few movie kinds of love out there, and of the ones that happen, the movie kind of passion goes away after a year or two to be replaced by a good kind of friendship. You might get it, you might not. You can't predict it. It's fatalistic. If you happen upon a true soulmate and the timing is right, you will be blessed by Aphrodite, but chances are that you will just have a regular capitalist marriage, pop culture, conditional love based on reciprocity, i.e., what have you done for me lately, which is not all that bad considering all the pain and suffering in the world. Love and aging are the great equalizers of humanity. It doesn't matter what kind of wealth, power, or status an individual has, they can't buy love nor youth. You can try to maximize the probability of love, but it's out of your control. The gods control it, so why fret over it? Accept life as is with or without great love, be thankful for what you got and help a less fortunate soul along the way. That's the best you can do. Healthy love insights. Make your life together exciting. Do fun things together. There was a TV series on the Lifetime network where couples at all different stages of marriage, from newlyweds to very old couples, simply talked about their marriage in a free flow for about 12 minutes each. The off-camera host prompted them with questions which were edited out, so all you saw was the couple sitting there together talking about their journey together. Here are some of the one-liner notes I took. The best indicator of love is that you intuitively know God wants us to move forward. He puts that feeling in you when you meet your future spouse. A healthy couple listens to each other. You celebrate the good times, enjoy the average times, and support each other in hard times. It's the warmth of friendship. We accept each other and accept what life gives us. A relationship grows when nurtured. People grow together. Intimacy is a bond of sharing life, heartfelt communication. It's honesty and being open to your partner. You forgive each other for human failings. Empathizing is feeling for your lover. There's a middle ground between getting too close and being distant and sulky. When they fight fair about the issue at hand. They don't take cheap personal shots. A good partner is thoughtful and serves his lover. Great lovers feed their spirits as individuals. Married people get lonely. You need a daily intimate connection. When your lover is tired, give them space. A great couple complements each other. Don't assume anything because no one can read minds. Talk to clarify things. Men have to talk because the woman wants to know what's on his mind. They have to talk about sex too. A great relationship is stable. There's no constant up and down drama depending on mood. Individuals have to be stable to be good lovers. Everybody gets tired and feels insecure. Don't lash out or get withdrawn when it happens. Life is a developing journey day by day. You are present and support each other as equals in love. Be respectful. Don't get too deep with psychobabble. Just do things together and laugh. If you marry, you should accept your spouse for who they are. Commitment is to be there no matter what. Honor all promises. He could never open up even when he wanted to. It seems like he had a wall around his heart. Our sex drives are variable. Sometimes we're both on, most of the time, one wants it but not the other. We fight when we both think we're right but we let it go by not taking it so hard, by being pleasant, fun, and loving even when we fight or shortly after it. Facing our problems together brought us closer. I love her so much that if I had to do it all over again, I would. I feel like us, not like me and him. We don't try to change each other. We've changed together. We like to be together and enjoy each other's company. When we're together, we have good conversations. Our love grows day by day. We share power. Nobody is the boss. We never cross the line of complete disrespect. We get mad at each other but show restraint in our criticism. We nurture each other. We don't bitch at each other. We were both insecure but made up for it with love. We talk and share. Actions speak louder than words. We tell each other we love each other. He listens to me. We forgive each other when we get upset and do things we regret later. It's not about what can you do for me, it's about what can I do for you. The most important thing is the relationship. He takes care of me. We didn't have a guidebook but love and kindness smoothed it all out. We started the marriage off trying to be nice to each other and kept on that way. We work together in business which keeps us close. Whenever I feel angry, I remember the book of Proverbs in the Bible and keep my mouth shut. He had his problems so I backed off and let him be. A good marriage takes work. Take time to connect. Have dates or getaways. Talk about what's important. Be playful together. We love our children and try to be good parents. Our love has many dimensions. I expected a lot, maybe too much. The marriage forces me to try to be a stellar human being. The marriage can fall into dangerous territory ever so easily with just a few insensitive gestures. I took advantage of her love so she left me. I don't know why I picked him but what's important is us right now. I still love her. Our shared memories keep us close. Being together is better than being alone. He makes me feel good every time I see him. I feel like we're two strangers in the same house. There is a peace between us. We lose each other then we find each other again. We always fight about money. We both have bad habits. Live and let live. Raising our kids is our common ground. He helps me reach my personal goals. We are dedicated to each other's happiness. We are both free to live our own lives. It's a happy kind of happiness. We have joy. The problems tore us apart but brought us closer later. We're old but we love each other just like when we were young. We hug and kiss all the time. We never go to sleep angry at each other. It's all about understanding each other. I'm proud to be with her. We share our lives together. There is lust but there is also love. I scratch her back, she scratches mine. I'd rather be happy than right. The house looks great but we're always fighting. We make the time to be together. She is the most important thing to me. We are good friends. We honor each other by doing little things for each other every day. We feel like we think alike. We're still awkward with each other. The natural closeness is not there. I love you just the way you are. I feel like we live in a cocoon. Every day, we set the tone by either being nice, indifferent, or critical. We appreciate each other. We feel comfortable with each other. We changed each other for the better. We do spontaneous things for a dash of excitement in our lives. Love is letting someone be themselves / you can't change anyone. Love is letting someone be themselves. Don't try to change anyone because you can't. They will just resent you for it. Here's a bit from my book A Free Spirit's Search for Enlightenment. I figured it out over a period of free living away from modern civilization for about 6 months or so. I was able to peel off all my former cultural indoctrination to make the greatest discovery of my life. I have an inherent standard inside of me of how I should live and who I should be. That's who I am purely and naturally. It has nothing to do with the so-called civilized world I was brought up to believe in. I have my own conscience and my own values given to me by the great Creator Godhead Divine Kumbaya Ganeshala Spirit who created me. We're all born with natural inclinations, tendencies, talents, or gifts. It doesn't matter what you call them. These tendencies translate to a certain amount of natural potential energy every morning when you wake up. It's there. Most of us deny it or ignore it because there's a big layer of artificial cultural conditioning in our brains that's clouding over our real truths as individuals. People who eventually discover enlightenment and freedom at some point in their lives realize that life is reduced to this one simple thing: I must release most of that natural potential energy I feel in my free spirit every morning when I wake up. This is the only way you're ever gonna feel anywhere from good to great every single day of your life. Just honor who you were born to be. Leave the artificial values of the world behind, focus on the power in your core genetic seed. If you don't release most of the natural potential energy within yourself on any given day, you're betraying yourself, therefore you will feel out of harmony with your true nature. This is what that vague, empty feeling is that I used to have when I was unenlightened, even when I had plenty of money and was doing all right by society's standards as a yuppie. I didn't know why I never felt quite right back then, but now I know it was the result of not living by my true nature. Many of us are so weak as individuals that we don't follow the song, dance, truth, or beauty in our souls. Most of us have been massively brainwashed by the artificial values of this world we live in. All the psychobabble, philosophy, religious and New Age ideologies written since the beginning of human thought seem to try to make life more complicated than it really is. This damages all the people looking for enlightenment who buy into some of this artificial crap which covers over their real selves and smothers it. All you have to do is connect with who you are the way you were born, away from the brainwash of the world, and release that natural energy every day. The happiest people are the ones who live to constantly purge what's in their free spirits, whatever is in there that's inspired, beautiful, noble, ugly, angry, sad, sensual, carnal and loving. The only rule is don't hurt other living things. Following your true nature should be the great adventure of everyone's life. There are the people getting a kick out of being alive and everybody else living in some manner of pacified, consumer spectator comfort food, pill poppin', addicted to something, mundane land. Obsessive love / extreme love / excessive love. There was a radio show where people called in and told about when they went too far in loving someone, like they loved someone more than he or she loved them, they were irrational and did stupid things, they were obsessed and they sacrificed the pursuit of their own individual lives for it. Sacrifice means to hold sacred, which is a positive attribute, but the funny thing is that many of the people who were extremely in love said they later snapped out of it, saw this person as nothing special and moved on. Some people stay in love for a lifetime. This is more like the ebb and flow of the tide. It goes in and out, up and down. At times you love your spouse, then you don't like them for a while. That's reality. Another thing about excessive love is that most people under 30 have this deep all or nothing view of love. They get all broken up when they break up, whereas people over 30 have generally been there a few times and it's not that big a deal anymore. Love to me may or may not happen. In any case, I'll continue to live as I do now. I'm not obsessed with finding a soulmate or feeling my life is nothing without a relationship. Many people expect too much out of love based on mass media images they were brought up on. Love can be nice, but you have to work at it. Be nice to your lover and expect periods of distance. In the end, you're still a loner stuck in your head. Honor yourself and keep yourself strong, then love will be a lot calmer and not as urgent. Chapter 2. Love Probings 1. Level of affection sets the tone of the relationship. The more affectionate you are, the more affectionate your lover will be. If there is very little affection, people might continue to be together but the relationship is bad. People want hugging, kissing, cuddling, compliments, saying nice things, hot love, wild abandon or mutual practical assistance. Does everybody deserve to share sensual touch, mind-blowing sex, a spiritual connection and true love? Where I live the economy is average. Some people earn a good living like government workers and teachers. Most people work blue-collar type jobs and there are very few extremely wealthy people in the bunch. If they were really rich they wouldn't live here because the weather is so foul for at least a half a year. If I was loaded, I'd be gone. My point is that you, the person reading this right now, can pick up any cutesy psychobabble one-trick pony love or sex advice book you will see at the bookstore and it's a joke because the real world doesn't come close to the world portrayed in those books. What's the point of a path of rose petals up to the bedroom? What is so sexy about strawberries, chocolate or satin sheets except to show that you're trying to do something nice even if it seems unnatural to your lifestyle? You know when you got lust and love and when you don't. Have you ever looked at someone and said to yourself, that's the sexiest girl or guy I've ever seen or seen in a long time? Do you think anyone has looked at you lately and thought you were a hunk of manhood or womanhood? Did you ever do sex and lust with someone who was into it as much as you were, with wild abandon? I look at people around a mile or two where I live and I can tell most of them aren't living out this bodacious, easy breezy lusty, loving romantic lifestyle, but I'm not down on them. I'm saying this is real life, working every day, raising kids, and then you got all them silly love advice books telling you to run a bubble bath for two. Who give a damn? Real love and lust are primal. It's in your look, touch, feel and in your essence. The fires of attraction are either there or they aren't. Does every couple, no matter how hot the love is, eventually cool off into a kind of mundane, daily routine? How much lusty passion do you see between long-time couples? Does lust always end in predictability and mundanity, or is this just another stage of love? Can you stay lusty and passionate with someone over 20 years? I say yes only if that person respects themselves enough to try to look good, stay vital physically and expand their mind to stay inspired about their lives. Often people are disappointed because a partner does not live up to their full potential as noble beings. How many women have I seen who were sexy once but they ain't got no sexiness left? The same goes for guys. If you don't care enough about yourself to look good for your spouse, all bets are off. Passion isn't that hard at 22, but what about at 42? Long-lasting relationships need dates in order to keep the romantic energy going. Be together, do things together, talk and touch each other. Happiness and love are not a human birthright. You have to have something to offer, then find someone willing to offer as much as you back. The truth is that most people don't have much to offer. They just want to fulfill cultural roles. They'll marry some generic person like themselves, work some job to pay the bills, spend a little bit of time raising the kids, then go back to their real interests, which are to be pop culture spectators and consumers. Great lovers study sex, love, and romance, then at some point, figure out that it's all well and good but they have natural passion inside of them too. They have to have the guts to find a worthy lover, then spend the rest of their lives pleasing each other. The techniques and ideas described in sex and love manuals might improve your sexual relationship a little bit, but you either have an erotically charged atmosphere between the two of you that's always there barely beneath the surface, or it's not, and the marriage is simply a convenient arrangement on how two superficial friends live together as husband and wife but each alone in their solitary interests. I repeat, Passion is easy among young lovers, but how do they keep it going for years? The bottom line is to keep your own sense of self-respect and identity strong and have the desire to share it. It's not enough just to be a highly inspired, vital human being. You have to want to share it. A lot of naturally inspired people are self-absorbed. Look at all the creative people out there. They look like fine specimens, but they're either looking for sensual experiences without monogamous commitments, or they're so engrossed in what they do that other people bother them. There's a need for balance in everything if you want a great life. Falling in love and staying there. Let's fall in love. Why shouldn't we fall in love? Our hearts are made of it. Let's take a chance, why be afraid of it? Let's fall in love. 1933. Words by Ted Koehler, music by Harold Arlen. Modern. Fall in love by touching someone's heart. Make them see you as a nice, kind, warm, special person. Falling in love is what we're trained and brainwashed for. Why do I say brainwashed? Because I'm a sexual hedonist and I don't think monogamy is inherent. I'm more inclined to believe in polyamory, that you can fall in love with dozens to hundreds of people in your lifetime. Just love the one you're with in the moment. There's a real strong push for monogamy in most music, movies, TV shows, literature and women's magazines. To me, how much is real and how much is a fantasy that was concocted by some tribal elders a long time ago to tame men down to being with only one woman, as opposed to the alpha male getting them all while beta males get none, and to instill in a man the sense of responsibility that he should take care of his biological children. Having said all that, it doesn't change the fact that the mainstream media loves to sell stories about falling in love, and we eat it up so much that many multi-millions of us feel depressed or unfulfilled if we're not in one of these lovey-dovey monogamous relationships. The truth is that most monogamous relationships aren't hot stuff. They're more like lukewarm, stale leftovers. That's reality for you. Reality is unpopular though, so the myth trumps it. A big reason why very few relationships last in a fairy tale atmosphere over a lifetime that hardly anyone talks about is reality. Life is hard to begin with, the need to earn a living, and on top of that, most men are mooks in mindset, plus they destroy themselves working for a living. The average woman has got expectations of the man she wants to marry at 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. The average guy in the real world is somewhere between 4 to 7. Guys that women want that exist in romance novels don't exist much in real life. Because of that, when a woman ends up marrying some average-looking guy with a regular job, she always feels like this guy is not her dream lover. That's enough of my cynicism. I'm here to give you a little bit of idealistic fantasy about falling in love. Romantic love is shrouded in mystery. It's spiritual. You enter into a euphoric dimension for a while. Then what? The disappointment and disillusionment of falling out of love if you don't know what to do next to keep it going. How do you design your own version of lusty, lasting love as a couple? It takes work to firstly want an intimate connection with someone, then to nourish it all the time. It's all about action. That's very profound, but people don't seem to understand that a loving relationship has to be nurtured every single day. It's not like you're married, you work to supply the money and that's it. You have to work on the emotional connection. The first thing is to determine who you really are. If you're really into sex, don't get married just because society says it will make you happy. Marry someone who thinks like you and likes the same stuff as you do. After that, be nice. Don't hold grudges. Do nice things for each other. Our culture is big on cheating. It is the theme of some television shows, and the tabloid shows like to report on who cheated on who. I say don't watch those type of shows. They just put bad ideas into your head. A lot of people are negative in general. If you have X number of failed relationships, you're thinking about when will this one fail. You need faith and hope. Passion fades over time, but a loving couple can do things together and create new things to do to keep it going. Your body is one of the few things you own. You have to keep it looking attractive to your partner. If you turn into an overweight barrel of fat, what do you expect from your spouse? Know what your partner wants and give it to her, like helping with housework, childcare, making money, and initiating sex. Can you have stimulating conversation every day on general topics and about sex? Romantic gestures and loving each other are necessary. You have to be positive people in general who live to be inspired. Contribute all you can to grow together. Celebrate your differences. Don't use them as weapons against each other. It's very easy for what started out as being a cute quirk to become annoying. Make your relationship the most important thing in your life. Don't let your ego pull you away from your lover. Disagreements are normal. How you handle them determines where you go from there. Don't be a know-it-all who always has to win. During disagreements, try to avoid spontaneously saying a hurtful thing that can destroy a relationship. People talk about forgiveness, but sometimes there's too much water under the bridge, too little too late. You have to have some kind of sex or intimacy regularly. How much of your individuality are you willing to trash or allow to be criticized? Sex and spirit are united in a loving relationship. Sex becomes more than pleasure. It's connecting with your lover intimately. A lot of people have problems with sex and intimacy because of the way they were brought up to think that sex is bad and or because somebody might have abused them sexually. This is a big kink in a lot of relationships, the inability to have intimacy freely without repression. Sex is good if done in a spiritual sense where you think it's just part of nature, even if you're just doing it for pleasure. It's nature. Love is nature too, so if you combine the two, you get happiness. If you don't get a good dose of love and sex, therefore don't release that natural energy, first of all, you start to look ugly and dumpy. Second of all, you get angry and bitter and probably take it out on your spouse, who's supposed to be beautiful and sexy but they're worn down too. A great relationship is the natural flow of your love to your partner without being self-conscious, kind of like you do with your pets. Don't try to control or manipulate. You have to surrender some of your independence to share your life. You have to be open enough to show your weaknesses and tenderness, which a lot of people can't do. Don't judge or criticize. A great love affair takes great effort. It's not about your plan of a great life with a nice house and 3 kids. It's about what you do right here and now. The greatest lovers go with the flow of what they feel. You have to touch each other. The energetic flow of life is called chi. Follow what you feel. Learn to feel each other through your intuition. Happy at heart. I never could figure out what attracted me to the few girls I fell in love with as a young man before I realized I was not born to be monogamous until I heard the Muslim radio show on ckdu.ca that's on every Thursday night, where the guy used the term happy at heart to describe the purpose of life. I thought about this happy at heart term for a few minutes, then I realized this is what attracted me to any girl I ever fell in love with. They were all pretty, healthy and not overweight, but they all looked like happy people. That's why I was so attracted to them. You can see happiness or lack of it on a person's face. For me, it's instinct. It's not a fake smile. Their resting facial expression looks like they're having fun, enjoying their lives, which is rare because most people go from generic, not happiness, just bland comfort, to miserable. If you're happy at heart and find a mate happy at heart, you're easily in the top 1% of sincerely happy people. Make no mistake about it. Most people don't really know what true ecstatic happiness is, and on top of that, a lot of people are constantly worried about something, which means they're not happy at heart. Chapter 3. Love Probings 2. The Golden Rules of Love. Major Golden Rule: try to please your spouse all the time. The quest for love is the desire to be desired. Come now to your bedroom, to your bed, and play there sweetly, gently with your bridegroom. Be willing and stand wondering before your lover. Sappho, ancient Greek poet. Love your partner the way God made them to be. You can do a survey on any group of people in the world as to what you need to do to have a successful loving relationship. It will always come down to these few points. Arousing. Being equal partners. Being friends. Being honest. Being patient. Built on trust. caring, celebration, comfortable, enjoyable, equality, expressing love, feeling good, feeling ready, fun, good memories, having choice, honesty, honoring my pace, laughter, loving myself, mutually desired, nurturing, open communication, physically safe, playful, private, relaxing, respect, respectful, satisfying, sensual touches, shared intimacy, socially responsible, something I deserve, support each other, talk, trust, warmth. Love as defined by the dictionary means such things as passion, emotion, commitment, communication, compassion, forgiveness, joy, warmth, attachment, devotion, enthusiasm, benevolent concern, loyalty, strong affection, fondness, sexual attraction, cherishing someone, powerful liking, intense attraction, a desire to be with someone, caring about someone, but these words don't seem to capture the essence of it. The most important factor of love is that magical feeling of romantic attraction has to be there. You can try to keep it alive, but if it goes, it's gone. That's it. In essence, you have to change and grow together. I've found that maybe the best way for a guy and a girl to get closer, barring the responsibility of bringing a child into the world, is simply to get a cute, cuddly pet that you both like a dog that you both have to fuss over, feed, take for walks together, play with, etc. If you're a girl, get him a dog that you can both love together, then buy it little presents and stuff. Love happens when the happiness of the other person becomes as important as your own. To love is to give freely of yourself in all things, fully honor marital vows, for better or worse, richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, each partner trying to give more than they take. Love is a feeling of having someone else inside of your soul. It's a desire to please your loved one, share your lives together, face problems together, meet each other's needs, feel for each other, feel passionate and young together, care for each other emotionally, and basically worship your lover as the one, highly idealized person in your life. The most important rule in any relationship is commitment. It's not 50-50. Give 100% and the other will give more, and it will keep growing. I believe that love is simply an overwhelming feeling to protect, care about and adore your special person. It's all about cherishing the love and nurturing it. Love your partner as you love your own flesh, a passage out of Ephesians 5:28-29 in the Bible. That's it right there. Love your partner as much as you love yourself and seek to nurture and protect her that way. Men ought to love their wives just as they love their own bodies. A man who loves his wife loves himself. None of us ever hate our own bodies. Instead, we feed them and take care of them just as Christ does the church, for we are members of his body. Ephesians 5:28-29. The one true platinum-coded, golden rule of love is reciprocity: give and you shall receive, unless you're with a selfish gold digger, in which case, leave. Be her biggest fan and vice versa. Think, I am love. Let it flow out of your body and soul into your lover and anyone else that happens to be around. Give it freely with no conditions attached. Everybody needs to feel like they're worth something to somebody else. You have to make them feel appreciated. We all know that everybody secretly wants to be loved like a great Prince Charming Cinderella love story, so you have to try to make it real. Spend time with her/him. Treasure the little things like the ritual of the morning kiss. Connect emotionally. Support each other. Put your partner before yourself, make them number one in your life above even you. That's the heart of the matter right there. Try to recount it whenever feeling weak in the relationship, focusing on its meaning, which should bring you down to a real place where you can talk to your mate. Everybody wants to be alone for a little while every day. Don't smother your mate. Moral support or support in general is a quiet assurance that you're always there no matter what. Consider this great love story. There was this man who was a woodcarver who lived with his wife on the poor side of town. One Christmas, he had nothing to give to her, so he sold his tools and bought his wife a nice hairpin for her long, pretty hair. Meanwhile, she had gotten her hair chopped off and sold it to buy him a sharpener for his tools. When they exchanged gifts, it didn't matter because they had given each other the greatest gift of all. They had proven their love by parting with their prized possessions for each other, and that's all that mattered. Corny story maybe, but in real life it'd be pretty darn special if it happened to you. I've skimmed several hundred books on love and romance. It seems as though there are a lot of so-called experts out there who want to share complex psychobabble views, even though it should be intuitively simple to all of us: give love to get love. It's very simple when you get right down to it. I don't really believe in lists and formulas for love, but for the purposes of this article, I put together my main ingredients. Open initiative. Either one should feel free to open up and discuss any problems or issues at any time. Compromise. The ability to sublimate selfish desires or resist infantile games of one-upmanship. Honesty. Stop lying to each other, tell the truth, for we are parts of each other, and when we lie we are hurting ourselves. Honesty in everything, even the little white lies you think should go over. Ephesians 4:25. Loyalty. If you love someone, you will always be loyal to him no matter what the cost. You will always believe in him, always expect the best of him, and always stand your ground in defending him. 1 Corinthians 13. Patience. Love is patient and kind. Patience means quietly riding out the little problems and the big storms by continuing to work for what you believe in. Corinthians 13:4. Compassion. Feel for the other and their individual problems, perhaps health problems, work problems, or problems with other people. Courtesy. Have good manners like your mother taught you. Do the little things even though she is perfectly capable of doing for herself, like opening doors, pulling her chair out, helping her with her coat, etc. Be helpful, kind, and good to each other. Never be haughty or selfish or rude. Gentleness. Show tenderness to the one you love. Don't holler at her. Don't nag him. Speak softly always. Your tone of voice always give you away. Passion. Show affection. Touching, stroking, and kissing without provocation, which means just do it without waiting for a reason. Intimacy. Overcome the separation between your individual selves to connect physically, intellectually, and spiritually. Be supportive. Be there to care when times get tough. Quality of innocence. Don't let life get you down. Keep a certain amount of simple love in it. Do things together as simple as taking a walk in the park and smelling the roses, or go for a drive in the country. Playfulness and silliness. Act like two little kids together. Sense of humor. Everyone wants someone or something funny to lighten the general mood and present a fun, easy atmosphere. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is letting what was be gone, what will be, come, what is now, be. Forgiveness is the toughest of all, especially after a flagrant indiscretion, but it may be the only way to save an otherwise doomed relationship. Good to forgive, best to forget. Some others are intimacy, commitment, passion, giving, humility, responsibility, protective, contentment, thankfulness, the ability to change, tolerance, patience, warmth, humor, shared time, respect, compatibility, temperance, diligence, and faithfulness. The formula, if there is such a thing, is for all these factors to be done with commitment, persistent effort, a willingness to change and let the relationship evolve to a new level as yet undefined, while we each maintain our own separate identities and remain thankful for what we have together. Be a friend and a good listener. Make her feel good about herself. Try to create little love rituals like the morning kiss, the afternoon walk, eating supper together, etc. I will end this section with the freakiest love story I ever heard to make you wonder how strong love could really be. There was a man and a woman who got married, had several kids, then he died of a heart attack on his way to work one day. Several years later, one of his daughters was awakened at night by what seemed like a ghostly image of her father, who told her to dictate a letter for him, which she did. It was a love letter to his wife to be delivered at her surprise birthday party a few days later. When the girl woke up the next morning, she thought to herself that it was quite a vivid dream. She had then looked over and saw that she had actually written this love letter earlier that night. She thought nothing of it and just put it in an envelope to give to her mother as part of her birthday gift. On the day of the party, the mother opened the letter, read it, then started to cry. Her name was Patricia. Everybody called her Trish except her husband, who called her Trixie. The letter was addressed, "My dearest Trixie, I wish I could be there to be with you and look into those eyes that sparkle like the bluest sapphires." The mother asked the daughter how she knew about the nickname. The daughter replied that she didn't until she had the dream, so we're left to conclude that this man's love for his wife was so strong that he sent her a love letter from the grave. I saw this love story on an episode of the TV show Unsolved Mysteries. Whatever you make of it, it's a great love story, but the point is, don't wait till you're dead, love her now. Perhaps the other most intense love story I ever heard was a true story on the radio, where a woman's husband died and 5 years later she was feeling ill, so she went to the hospital, where they conducted a battery of tests on her and concluded that her illness was grief. They told her to get over it, but she never did. This struck me as intensely true love, because in today's disposable world, I've seen countless cases where one partner died and the other went out and got married a short time later. To still grieve intensely after 5 years is monumental love. Incidentally, many longtime couples die within a short time of each other. One dies, the other is heartbroken, so they die within a year after, like our former great president, Dick Nixon. Some couples report that they do most of their emotional connecting talking while going out on walks together. Rules of Love 1. Establish and renew the relationship through working hard to establish trust. Develop ground rules and an effective process for discussion and deciding key issues. Define a process for discussing a specific issue, usually a complex and/or controversial one. Draw boundaries if you want, where the other person doesn't bring up those things. Life in a city can be all working and running around. In a relationship, people walk together, do things together. Anger must be expressed. It might bring important perspectives to the relationship. Openly discuss issues. Evaluate how serious a problem really is. Try to understand each other. Figure out a structure and process that is consistent with your relationship's values, write it down, make future adjustments as necessary. People on the street off the top of their head say they want these 5 qualities in a mate. Sense of ease about oneself. Sense of inspiration and possibility. Family interest, wants a family with kids. Polite, appropriate, gentle. Openness to a relationship, is not totally independent and self-sufficient, has some vulnerability. Your spouse is supposed to be number 1. Your allegiance to him or her trumps everything: parents, friends, work, hobbies, money, etc. Maybe kids are right up there too, because they're helpless innocents. Make your spouse feel important, like he or she is everything and then some to you. Don't be mean even if you're mad and have a valid gripe. A relationship is not your fantasies imposed on another human being. Live in the real world. Have real expectations. Relationships are rarely 50:50. It's more like you each take turns taking up the slack. If it's 80:20 and you're doing most of the work, it's your fault for committing to the guy. Get out now or accept it. Rules of Love 2. Admit mistakes. Show humility. Be graceful. The easiest way to win someone over is to be nice. If they don't reciprocate, then they're not worth it. Say I love you every day or show it. Appreciate your time together. Use it well. Be happy for each other's successes. Spend time together talking and in silent comfort. Try not to criticize. Don't give phony praise. Keep your mouth shut when you feel negative. Don't do things to anger the other one. Be upbeat. Be her cheerleader. Be real with each other. Don't lie. Say thank you. Don't take love for granted. Give your lover respect. Know when to keep your mouth shut. Don't complain about minor stuff. Look for the best in each other. Share good times together. Do something together like take walks or share a hobby. Don't lie. Say what you think and feel. Be kind. Don't flirt with other people. Hug every day. Kiss every day. Be tender. Show her you think about her by being considerate. Tell her you love her. Make her coffee. Be complimentary. Do not be afraid to do foolish things for love. Everybody needs more loving. Everybody needs to be told they are loved. When you feel angry, keep your mouth shut. Support your spouse in their endeavors. Understand that the process of love is like a circle. It revolves around, getting strong then weak then strong again, etc. Don't give up if you believe in the relationship. Trust your lover on a controversial concept like if you suspect he is cheating, hold off a bit before you accuse him of it. Don't try to outdo one each other. Show affection all the time. Forgive. Be generous. Don't bring up past shortcomings. Don't make assumptions. Talk to clear the air. Eat together as often as you can. Treat each other like you love each other. Be willing to learn from each other. Be as real as you can so that your spouse is also real with you rather than pretense which comes out sooner or later. Don't be clingy. Don't demand too much attention. After you commit and marry, keep the romance going as though you're still dating. Don't demand a big wedding or anything big. It masks you look greedy. Have your own identity. Don't make mountains out of molehills. Don't criticize your spouse until you've walked a mile in her shoes. Contempt is the most reliable indicator of divorce. Everybody has shortcomings and weaknesses. Don't hang around with single people and others who can put bad ideas into your head. Try to connect at least once a day. Eat together. Don't confront with ultimatums. Say what you feel matter-of-factly. If he doesn't respond, get a divorce. People contradict themselves all the time. Take all talk as cheap. Actions speak louder than words. Get my family book and study it. Don't badmouth his friends and relatives. He can badmouth them but not you. Don't side with your family over your spouse unless you want a divorce. Help each other by discussing your problems and offering each other advice. Don't be a know-it-all. Don't be a martyr. Don't do everything. Take shortcuts. You don't have to clean every day, you can cook one pot of food that should last for 3 days. Don't live in some home decor delusion about a picture-perfect house. It's all indoctrinated crap. Be hopelessly romantic. Go to hashtag 306.7 and hashtag 613.96 at the library. Make her feel attractive. Don't use the kids as a scapegoat for a bad marriage. Keep the two issues separate. Don't give all your energy to your kids over your spouse. Don't expect rewards for routine things you do to help the household. Try gardening and landscaping together. Go to number 636 at the library. Don't criticize all the time. Don't complain all the time. You never know what you got till it's gone, so don't be too negative. Don't fight for a marriage that's dead. Always be kind. Take care of your body both to look attractive and to have self-respect. Don't be a people pleaser to the extreme. It makes you look weak. Some spouses will try to run all over you, they give them an inch, they take a mile thing. Marriage should be fun, not work. Divorce is the solution for a lot of marital problems. Listen to each other. Don't go to bed angry. Buy gifts for no reason. Do things together for no special reason. Don't expect him to shop with you. Don't tell the other how to drive. Take a massage course together. Don't be a high and mighty prima donna. Don't try to control your spouse. Don't be vain but have pride in your body and looks. Don't let yourself go. Find a happy middle ground between intimacy and independence. Don't be too dependent. Live and let live. Don't cramp your spouse's style. Don't change all of a sudden. This is common right after marriage. When you fight, fight over a specific issue. Don't attack the person. If it's a minor point, don't even bring it up and don't fight about it. Everything comes down to being kind. Don't threaten divorce unless you mean it. Don't raise your voice. How you speak, your tone, is just as emotionally filled as what you say. If you've got an anger problem, consider living alone or going in the basement until you get over it. Don't compare your spouse to others. Create free time when it's just you two together. A lot of fights over minor things aren't really worth it. Who cares where you live? Who cares what color the new kitchen table is? Who cares what kind of dog you get? You have to be a team, do things together, plan together. Get My Money book. Study it as a couple. Give each other private space. When one comes home after doing something, give them space until you see how they're feeling. What kind of mood are they in? You should be your spouse's cheerleader, but not to the point where it's insincere hype. Let your spouse make the decisions for most of the minor things if he or she wants to. Don't demand to know everything. Everybody's got some secrets. Don't call your spouse on the phone all the time. Don't send him email or text messages more than twice a week. It becomes pesty after a while. Don't expect a lot of emotional empathy from men. That's the way they were brought up, to be functional. Vulnerability, the highest virtue of love. I personally think the modern world is confused. It's trying to define positive characteristics in a woman as either some made-up, frivolous, trendy-looking, preppy elitist in a cosmetics commercial or some independent, capable, advanced, with-it girl who knows what she wants and goes for it. But the problem with both of these modern ideals of what it means to be a lady is that they give off cold vibes. There's nothing warm, nice, soft, sincere, true, pure, innocent, and lovable about them. In their search for love, I feel that most men desperately seek a woman who has a sense of vulnerability to her, whether they consciously realize it or not. Modern-day feminism and the culture of pop star wannabes seems to have taken this quality out of a lot of women. The inner softness has to be there. If I meet a beautiful girl in full control of herself, talking like some college-educated, easy-breezy cool babe and acting a little advanced to boot, it makes me feel cold, especially if she's got roots showing through and thinks she's living large right out of a frivolous woman's magazine, kinda like snapping her fingers real phony cool, like with the attitude, "You go girl, I'm way worth it, large and in charge. Why bother? It's like the Queen. You got some chubby chick who's currently presented to us as a star because she's a rapper and in a handful of movies, so she goes around with this I'm the Queen vibe as though it's cool to be like this, yet she's got about as much feminine charm as there is in my butt. If you want a man, you better stop thinking about your self-centered world and realize men have needs too, and if they don't see somebody soft and nice but rather a trendsetter full of herself, forget it, they ain't interested. They might try to play you for sex because they assume you must be liberated, but as far as love goes, men want some ladiness, femininity, innocence, and vulnerability in a girl, to feel like they matter to her. They don't want the sense that she's an independent trendy babe perfectly happy with her Pantene. Those TV commercials are gems of everything I hope all real men detest, her trendy clothes, Cosmo magazine, and her vibrator. Men are attracted to beautiful, vulnerable-looking girls. I'm not talking a dependent flake here, I'm talking someone nice who is functional in the real world with a job, a car, etc. But with a look that tells you she's real. Whenever I see a beautiful girl that looks sensitive and nice, I get turned on, and it's so rare. I love beauty and the quality of girlishness that hasn't been spoiled by the world. It's a combination of outer prettiness, the inner beauty of a soul which strives to be itself fully, and a sense of humility untouched by the brainwash of MTV and stupid women's magazines. Show me one of them and I will show you a rare beauty in modern society. With modern, liberated girls in general, there's no vulnerable, feminine feeling there such that men feel a desire to step in, love her, care about her and protect her, and since this isn't there, the men don't feel a strong connection. Nowadays, men don't have to support women financially nor protect them from dragons, but they still like to feel they do, or at least that they serve some manly function to the girl in a noble, chivalrous way. But trendy, pop culture girls are too jaded and advanced for this. I like girls who appreciate me as a man, who let me be a man and like me being masculine like a protector would. It makes me feel that she really needs me. She's not like some superficial, trendy bitch who just wants what she can get out of me, or some modern, independent babe that's too in control and cynical to let me be corny and romantic with her. The simple girls get the guys because they let the guy know they like him and like the masculine way he tries to take charge and make sure everything's alright. It's like the old stereotype. If the guy doesn't feel like the knight in shining armor, rescuing the girl, protecting her, loving her, and she doesn't respond back as the dainty princess showing she likes it, the guy feels no warmth, so he rejects them all until he finds the one that makes him feel like a real man and lets him into this corny romantic bubble they decide to live in. To me, a beautiful look with a sense of vulnerability never fails to arouse my manly instincts. Somebody who looks nice but has a bit of solemnity in her face turns me on because I know she's not trying to be phony bubbly. It's kinda ridiculous to be thinking about fashions when millions of kids on the planet are wearing rags. The karma is all off, which is why I turned my back on capitalist, pop culture values a long time ago and don't particularly like anyone I meet who is like this, even though I'm wise enough to not let it show because I live and let live. My life is more important than wasting my time on a crusade I can't win anyway, the crusade of keeping people's minds free of pollution. It's too late. Most people have been massively polluted by the mass media. There are people around who think like I do and strive to live original lives. I would rather be in a relationship with someone like this than with a pop culture clone who wants to be an American Idol. By being herself the way God created her, I can tell an original girl has a sweet soul, that she's tender, she's probably been hurt before, so she has that deep sensitivity I'm looking for. Plus, as a man, I crave to be with a girl I know has the ability to love me, which a lot of girls can't because they're so into themselves being trendy as defined by pop culture. I want to sweep her off her feet and give her the life she deserves as a beautiful person who is currently caught up in this stupid, cruel world. Irreplaceable love. How irreplaceable is your lover? Lifetime monogamy is tough. Serial monogamy seems more realistic, especially for guys. Every 4 to 10 years or so, you crave somebody younger. Although I believe that love is expendable, as I explain in a later section, when you find your true soulmate, she will be irreplaceable, she will become a piece of you and live in your heart right inside your soul, hopefully forever. If you've been married for a while, ask yourself whether you love this person more now than when you first met her. If not, it may be less than irreplaceable. Most people who fall in love or into any kind of a relationship have stars in their eyes and idealize their lover in some way, so when you first enter into a relationship, you're not thinking clearly nor objectively. Any half-assed jerk can spew off a bunch of nice-sounding words and charm you off your feet, but so what if he's really a dud? Nice words are nice, but don't ever trust words unless you know they're coming from a proven guy who's as solid as granite. During my 20s, I lived in houses with other guys and worked with a concrete finishing crew made up of all manner of red-blooded dudes. I saw a lot of them charm naive, love-hungry girls with words, string them along for a while until they either split to another girl or the girl got wise to them, but many of them were so desperate for love that they stuck with these guys even though they constantly toyed with their emotions. I saw my buddies with 3, 4, or even 5 girls at a time, juggling them all around trying to be nice to them, but then when they got stressed out and the crap hit the fan, I saw domestic violence for the first time in my life. A woman scorned lashes out at a guy and he lashes back, especially if he's a macho man who drinks booze. That's the way it is in the real world. It's never about words, it's all about action. Watch how this person acts in general, how they regard themselves and you, and most importantly, do they put you on a pedestal when they're with you? If they don't, it's not love, it's that simple. Watch any guy with animals, old people, and with anyone who will never be able to do anything for him, i.e., the homeless guy on the street. The way he treats them is his true nature. If he kicks dogs and acts impatient around the senior crowd, you know what he's really all about. If he's impatient in traffic, which is a normal part of life beyond anybody's control, it's a red flag into his true nature. A lot of guys are stingy with their money. If he can't spend a few bucks for a nice gift or some flowers for you for no particular reason, drop him. If he keeps score and expects services for money rendered, drop him. Is he truly gentle and soft? Keep him. Watch how he treats his parents. Chapter 4. Love Probings 3. Create a love contract info. Trust helps us feel emotionally safe about our relationship with a partner. Trust grows when both people commit to be together no matter what. There is no guarantee in love. You have now. That's it. Just because it's great today does not mean that your husband is smitten by someone new tomorrow. It's the old Coolidge effect. A guy will be re-energized by a new female giving him the look. You can strengthen a relationship by having a clear understanding about what you expect from each other in the relationship. The most important thing is to discuss what each of you wants and needs in the relationship. You can greatly increase feelings of love and respect when you talk together. Be patient. It takes time and practice to open up emotionally and discuss intimate, sensitive topics. From discussing things, you can create a list of things you will both agree to honor and call it a love contract or our relationship ground rules agreement that contains the points like the ones below. Both partners agree to constantly work on the relationship. Agree to talk about the marriage regularly, especially if one of you senses a problem. Agree to talk it out rationally. Agree to always try to work things out no matter what. Listen to your partner. Strive to be empathetic. Feel each other. Talk about what you like and don't like sexually. Work together to come to new solutions. See intimate problems as opportunities to learn and grow as a couple. If you both agree to a solution, try it out, then discuss it again at a later time. Don't allow unresolved issues to fester and destroy the marriage. Agree to ask for what you want sexually without being judged for it. Agree that one doesn't have to have sex if they're not up to it. Agree that you don't have to do anything you don't want to do sexually. Agree to take a break or stop sex whenever one of you wants to. Agree to not try to pressure or push the other into doing certain things. Agree to not be nosy about the past or current sexual fantasies. Agree on boundaries like, is watching porn okay? Is going to an escort okay? Should you tell if you do? Relationships are easy. Relationships are easy. Try to love the one you're with. If you can't, at least try to tolerate them. If you can't do this, try to ignore them. If that doesn't work, separate yourself from them. Get out of there. Accept people for who they are. Nobody's perfect. Everybody you're close to will disappoint you at some point in time. It's just the way people operate. Nobody fits like a second skin to your needs and desires. If you love them, you have no choice but to accept their indiscretions within reason, not breathe a word of them or bring it up in their face and move on. I know all too well how self-centered and territorial we all are despite our upfront pretenses. Forgive and forget. Show love. There are very few soulmates and kindred spirits out there for any of us. It doesn't really matter because all you can do is show love. You can't make other people love you. Some people aren't capable of love. If you feel love, that's enough. Be loving about your life. You can't control what others think or do. Live with that sense of divine love inside of you. Try to imitate a cat. He's always following his true nature. My cat is always purring. It doesn't matter what's going on out there, the biggest storms, all that crap on the news, the local gossip. He's always got the happy purr going on inside, unfazed by the world out there. If you want true love, follow your free spirit. The big problem that a lot of people never figure out is that being loved will not solve your problem of individual identity. You have to develop a strong identity on your own through what you do. If you don't have a strong identity, you can't really be a great lover because you're always feeling out of harmony with your true nature. People still feel lonely, unconnected with other people and society in general, even when they're close, intimate and friendly with their families, friends, the church congregation, the local sewing club, school, work, the government, etc. They want a perfect kindred spirit soulmate connection like they saw in movie, or it's a utopian vision they have, but the real world is made up of real people with constantly changing moods. There is no one perfect moment of love, then it's love for life. It's a constant work in progress. We're all individuals with our own egos, emotions, ideas, and agendas. Even when we think we're kind and loving people, most of us except for a few saints, still think about ourselves way more than we think about other people, because that's who we are by design. We're stuck in our heads, geared for self-preservation and the pursuit of a comfortable life first before we think about anyone else. If you try to tell me that people are mostly kind, good and loving as people have done in the past, I'll just say, well then why are there so many poor, hungry, homeless people out there who can't get basic medical service? In your own hometown, there are a few people living in extreme excess while some people have almost nothing. I'm aware of this stuff and not buying into the propaganda about the happy family of humanity united for the common good as the New Agers seem to think with their power of intention crap. A lot of people simply don't analyze their lives, realize they're existentially alone like everybody else, then accept it and get on with living a great life. They're stuck feeling lonely, so they're looking for something to elevate them in the moment. It could be anything from superficial friendship like hanging out at the bar to eating too much greasy food. The bottom line is that it's always about you, stuck in your own head. You have to create yourself to feel good and be inspired about your life. Society tries to exploit people's existential loneliness by offering to sell them frivolous things to fill up their feelings of emptiness, but it never works, because the true challenge of life is to fill up your sense of existential loneliness by becoming the person your God created you to be. If you want love, this is your best chance of finding it, by being yourself, actively living your life as opposed to trying to manufacture an image about yourself that you got from the capitalist pop culture world, or drowning your feelings of loneliness by becoming a self-pitying consumer spectator, always looking for something out there to fill you up for a minute or two. You can only find true love by finding a soulmate or kindred spirit. In order to attract someone who shares your free spirit, you have to be expressing it so that kindred spirits see and come to check you out. If you're a generic person working some generic job, you're conforming to some standard not inherent to you. People won't see what's really in your soul, so you'll end up marrying another generic person like yourself and never find a true soulmate. It's a great tragedy that nobody ever talks about it, that they married someone who was not a soulmate in the first place. Based on my own observations, easily less than 10% of all married couples are true soulmates, in the sense that both have the same free spirits, therefore share a primal spiritual bond. They're cut from the same cloth. The same things motivate them. We wonder why we're a messed up society. It's not that hard to figure out. It's because we don't listen to our true natures as individuals. We allow ourselves to get seduced and brainwashed by the forces of a mass media capitalist world. Then when we get all the markers of success and happiness according to societal standards, we realize it still doesn't give us a transcendent kind of rush out of life. Follow your true nature and you win. Anything else is not a great life. Kindness is love. Kind words are like honey, sweet to the taste and good for your health. Proverbs 16:24. Pay bad people with your goodness, fight their hatred with your kindness. Even if you do not achieve victory over other people, you will conquer yourself. Henry Amiel. Kind people are never involved in arguments, and those who like to argue are never kind. Truthful words are not always pleasant, and pleasant words are not necessarily truthful. Lao Tzu. The kinder you are, the more kindness you will find in other people. Practice being kind instead of being right. My religion is very simple. My religion is kindness. Buddhist monk. Kindness is more important than wisdom. And the recognition of this is the beginning of wisdom. Theodore Isaac Rubin. Blessed is he who is kind to the needy. Proverbs 14:21. It is the kindness in a person, not beauty, which wins over our love. Those who bring sunshine into the lives of others cannot keep it from themselves. Kindness is the flow of your spirit into someone else. Kind words make light hearts. Psalms 3:3. An anxious heart weighs a man down, but a kind word cheers him up. Proverbs 12:25. Kindness is helping someone who will never be able to repay you. Good deeds are your soul in action. Everybody has a heart. You just have to reach it. In a word, love is caring for someone. You want to give of yourselves to each other completely, and should something happen to the one, the other would do all in his power to help her in any way he can until she's happy again. Being in love is relaxing and secure because you know it's real. Making your lover happy should make you happy. Quite simply, love in its purest form is someone without ego who is totally selfless in his devotion to serve his lover. Simply do your best to serve your love. A lover seeks only to help people better themselves. He is not jealous, doesn't criticize, it's just a smooth flow of love into his partner. He is sensitive to her moods and the moods of the relationship. He doesn't lust for anything outside the relationship and romantically loves only his wife. He's not hurried. He knows how to live and enjoy life with his lover. He's always available to her no matter what. He's chivalrous and helpful. He speaks only the truth gently with love in his voice. He has no false illusions about what love is. He knows that regardless of what happens in life, the relationship will survive and they will land on their feet with their souls intact. Whether we evolved from animals or not, every one of us can sense the level of goodness or badness in other people. Sure, there are cons out there, but they can't keep it up for very long. They invariably give themselves away. My point here is that whether you want a greater love affair with your partner or whether you're looking to fall in love, nothing can expose you more than being yourself when you think you're alone and someone is watching in those unguarded moments. That's why it's a good policy to try to develop your character to be a good person from the heart. I can read someone instantly by the tone of their voice. When you come across a soft, gentle voice, it makes you like that person right away. Do random acts of kindness from the heart for your wife, or if you're single, do random acts of kindness from the heart to others like strangers. Only then, when you least expect it, will someone see it, decide you're a good person and want to meet you. Get away from the me-self, become more spiritual, less materialistic, living for the harmony of the moment with whomever you happen to be with. Not only will random acts of kindness help other people out, but they will make you feel better inside, and the flame inside will get bigger as you continue to pass it on. People will be more attracted to you and you will have a better love life. Yeah, it's that simple. If you want to meet girls, try volunteering to help kids in a hospital. Get a dog, clean him up, and ask the hospital staff to start a pet visiting program. There are lots of nurses and counselors around. They will love you for it. Better still, there was this old guy who lived in the country and bred Samoyed Huskies as a hobby, only he never sold the puppies. He gave them all away to sick kids. When someone does something rude like cut you off in traffic and then they look at you feeling cocky, like they got one over you, disarm them by smiling and waving. When people act like jerks, they know it. This way you make them feel guilty and think about it rather than being antagonistic. Inevitably, if you have any conscience, what you do when you've got a lot of free time is reminisce about your life. You remember the good times and the shameful times, times when you did things that you wish you never had. You regret them and think to yourself, if you ever had a chance to do it over again, you'd do anything to erase the past. My point is to ask you to take a lesson from this. Think like that now before you have time for regrets. actsofkindness.org. have-heart.com/help-a-friend.html. humankindness.org. kindacts.net. Chapter 5. Love Probings 4. Love Mantra, focus on your love. Time is all we really own, yet we choose to fill it up with TV, the stock market and golf instead of loving the most important person in our lives, then complain that we don't have time. Get a clue. The secret to a great love is to put your lover as the number one priority of your life. It's just like focusing on any goal, dream, or vision, except you focus on your love life as the goal. The problem is when people take their lover for granted and pursue other things like booze, drugs, shopping, junk food, sports on TV, church choir, affair, TV in general, hanging out with the boys, airplane model club, etc. All these things should pale next to putting your lover first and spending time with them. Some Buddhist once said that if the people on the planet all meditated for 15 minutes a day, all the world's problems would be solved. Meditation is just another word for thinking about your life. You simply analyze your life every day, thank your lucky stars, and focus your thoughts on the love of your life. Instead of listening to the generic radio in the car on the way home from work, think about your love, how much you love him or her, and what you're going to do for her and with her when you get home. Listen to tapes of love songs rather than the generic top 40, which are pretty horrible in my opinion, especially since the melodies of 20 or more years ago have been replaced by all that crappy hip-hop stuff that is not music to me. Instead of thinking of the stock market report and or watching the news/TV when you get home, stop, talk to your wife, kiss her, then do something with her. The little things on a daily basis always count, like getting a dog and taking it out for a walk every day, or eating supper every night together. The formula is very simple. You think about your spouse for a little while every day, how much you love him or her, and think about what you're going to do to show them when you see them. Be together every night, spend 15 minutes talking to each other or doing something together. The daily ritual of love starts when both get out of bed at the same time, eat together, then later on, go through the same ritual again, whereby the husband and wife sit down and eat the meal with each other, either in silence or talking about the daily activities. There's no TV on or newspaper around. A great act of love is a foot wash and foot massage. You might think you're too proud to do it, but if you can humble yourself enough, you will show her how much you love her. When your wife gets home from work and her feet are tired, tell her to sit down. Bring in a basin of warm water with bath oil or shampoo in it, wash her feet gently with a sponge or washcloth, then kiss them all over and massage them. That's an act of true love. All great loving couples live spiritually as a team. Get away from material things in order to live as spiritual people. Do spiritual things together, like go to church, pray, and read the holy book or any other inspirational book like a book of verses or poetry. You could go to a Bible study or a yoga class or something like that together. Some couples bond by going out and volunteering to help the homeless or help handicapped kids, etc. You should watch less TV and do things together more, even if it's just quiet time being together, looking into each other's eyes. Longtime Love Info 1. Is not a man different, utterly different, at dawn from what he is at sunset? And a woman too? And does not the changing harmony and discord of their variation make the secret music of life? D.H. Lawrence. The secret to long-time love is to let your partner do whatever they want, both with and without you around. The one true elixir of long-time love is to be aware of it all the time. You have to work it, know when it's bad or good, and always act accordingly. You have to always be on top of it. In my opinion, the secret to long-time love is to enjoy the journey together. It's just like the approach to life I developed for myself by cutting out of the rat race to live freely, where I discovered that for me, My sense of vital spark and inspiration were the most important things that mattered to me, which I wrote about in another book. So the game is to hold onto this way of being within myself, and the way I do it is to release massive amounts of intense inspired energy all the time. Some days, a massive release of inspired energy seems like a joke to me. I feel so good I'm flying. Other days, for one reason or another I can't explain except that it's the flow of life, I can barely run half the distance I flew through several days ago. On those days, I do something, the best I can in my limited state. That's good enough for me because I'm reaching my limit for that low energy day, but the main point is that I did not vegetate in bed. I got up and attempted to be true to myself with the way I felt in the moment. Beyond youthful spark and inspiration, I generally put love and hedonism as two forks in the same road that can each lead to happiness after you live true to yourself with inspired living. If you pursue romantic love, for me, the game is exactly the same as the game of self-inspiration, except that your objective is to keep a common ground with your love object, keep catering to them all the time as you would with your own inspiration, both because you love the process itself and because it gives you what you want, a good, warm, fuzzy feeling inside. This is why I believe the pursuit of love is exactly the same as the pursuit of my inspired sense of life. I have to keep fighting for it all the time, and even on days when it wears thin, I still hold on trying for it and set out to rediscover my inspired self/great love affair all over again. This is it, this cyclical rediscovery of your love over and over again throughout the life cycle. The long-time love comes from the journey of trying to be loving all the time. Lifetime is a long time. You will both move through many individual situations and situations as a couple that will test your spirit and fortitude and possibly change it. In the midst of all this, the key is to keep making your marriage new, fresh, fun, kind and friendly. It doesn't matter what you did today or yesterday, every day is a clean slate for the marriage. You either fill it up with love, indifference, or hate, and this sets the tones for the future succeeding days after that. A great determinant of a long-time marriage is the extent to which the couple are friends with one another who do things together. The way you feel about your partner sexually is an important determinant of long-time marital success. Even though anybody can be friends over a lifetime, the extent of passion is easily determined by how sexually attracted you are to one another as you get older. Another determinant is the ability to change, roll with the punches and constantly renew the marriage as you navigate the murky waters of changing situations over a lifetime. Do not seek control and power over one another. Good couples don't try to change their partners to be like them. They accept them as is and give them space to culture their differences and feel free with one another. Know that each of you have differences, but when all is said and done, that's still the girl you wanna be with in your bed tonight. That's really about it. Everybody fights and has differences. The key to the people who stay together successfully and those who don't is exactly this, the way they fight and resolve differences. The key is to fight temperately, to never let it spiral into the unforgiving moment, and after the fight to let it go as a stalemate, victory, or defeat or whatever it is, then forget it and continue on as usual, like it never happened. Relate through conversations to reach a mutual understanding of life in general. Then when you have problems, do the same process to deal with it, talk to try to reach a point of understanding. Couples who resolve differences move on together. Couples who do not resolve their conflicts grow further apart as the unresolved issue continues to fester on. Everything in long-time love comes down to how the couple deals with their conflicts with each other. Develop a system to deal with conflicts with goodwill at the apex of it. Kindness, discussion, and listening are the central tenets of goodwill. Rather than withdraw, pursue your partner to talk and clear the air. Don't blame or deny. Use restraint if the emotions are very hot. Remember, you signed up to be a team. Try to stay calm through disagreements and fights. Reach a common ground through dialogue first, then work on solving the problem. Keep a level head. Use common sense. Long-time love info 2. Here's what one guy said about his 55-year marriage. We appreciate each other. We do kind things for each other. We enjoy life together. Live as a team. Put the marriage as the top priority. Mutual respect. Clear communication. Commitment. Generosity of spirit. Mutual support and help. Cherish life. Talk, talk, talk. Do anything to put your problems behind you. Don't try to win even if you're right. Compromise and forgetting are perfectly acceptable if they lead to the desired result, getting on with the relationship. Problems can be good because they force you to interact and could get you closer to one another. Enjoy being together. Have fun with each other. Feel at ease with each other. Be in love with each other. Bring loving intentions out in actions. Try to mutually understand each other. Become better friends by doing things with each other. Go out on dates together. Make love. Believe in the love between the two of you. Everybody's looking for a complicated secret of long-time love, but it's really very simple: love and respect over a lifetime. Because feelings of love cannot last smoothly over a lifetime, the only true elixir of long-time love is that we must divorce love from romantic feelings and sentimentality and replace it by duty and action, such that whenever you lose that loving feeling, keep your mouth shut, serve your partner, and the love should be rekindled over time. The elixir is to become fused such that two become one, of the same flesh, two hearts in one. Most relationships peak during the honeymoon, then slowly descend into mundanity after that, but the only true successful marriages I've ever seen had two elusive qualities. The people really loved each other. The marriage grew over time. Help your partner do the things necessary to please each other by fulfilling the needs you have. Be creative to help figure your life and your relationship out. Go where the changing roles of the relationship take you. Show you love each other several times every day. Be romantic. Help each other. Don't try to control your partner. Leave them free to live their lives. Have fun, be best friends. It's instinctive to do what feels good, so why bother staying in a relationship that's not nurturing and loving to you? People think they will never find another lover, so they stay in lousy relationships, codependent because of the safety it gives them. But I say, if it's not love, cut your losses, leave. Have faith that you're good enough to attract someone new. Do what makes you feel good. The key to love is to be good friends, share your lives with each other on a day-to-day level. If you can't do this and don't have that common ground of sharing your time and doing things together for the mutual enjoyment and pleasure of it, get out for your own sanity and move on to another part of your life. If you can't get over a need to be powerful and dominant over the wife, in all likelihood, the relationship is somewhat off, so do the right thing and get out. Do you look forward to being together just to enjoy each other's company when there's nothing pressing to do? If you feel tension just by being around each other, how can you expect to have great sex together? Do you care for each other enough to have unpressured, unhurried sex together? Friendship, fun, and love must be good in order to have great sex together. Friendship and love can be rekindled if you both care about each other and show it. If love gets weak, you must make a strong, committed effort if you want it back. Frustration or anger at your partner's little indiscretions that you feel are purposely directed at you, like leaving the toilet seat up, leads to you expressing your discontent somehow, implying you don't like her the way she is. So the solution is to either ignore it or deal with it without criticism, just quiet, self-assured dialogue. Keep showing affection no matter what. If you want love, be love. A high desire to love one another coupled with a low need to control each other is the base for a great love affair. See your partner's good points rather than being critical all the time. We all become limited versions of ourselves as we age. Sometimes a heart-to-heart away from everything else on the planet is the way to clear the air and keep the relationship alive. Always check in to see what your partner is thinking about lately. When you feel angry or sad, stop, examine yourself, and don't take it out on your spouse. Even if your life is not so hot, you're not as successful as you would like to be in the world, or have as much money as you want, don't let it interfere with your love life. Put your best face forward. Don't show your ugly side. Have more dignity than that. Try to always be mutually at the same level, To see things from the same point of view. Be caring. Face crisis situations from out in the world with love for each other. Keep the air clear of tension. Don't let your career or need for power and dominance destroy the marriage. Strive for equality. Parenting is good, but don't let it overshadow the love relationship between the two of you. Be balanced in life. Don't let any one thing consume you, not even love. You need an individual identity too. As you age, both of you should accept each other for who you are as older people. Don't be TV couch potatoes. Deepen your relationship with each other. Be thankful for the marriage. If I didn't like it, I would think you wouldn't be there, so if you're there, be thankful for it. Be cheerful. Be kind. Be forgiving. Be complimentary. Be loving. Great sex. A deep spiritual kiss. Mutually satisfying division of work. Regular sensual touch. You'd pick the same person if you had it to do all over again. Commitment to spending time together. Conversations. Know your own and your partner's expectations. Define or redefine the nature of your togetherness. Discover your wonderful feelings together. Spend intentional time together. Spend time on dates. Expend romantic energy. Be together in quiet comfort. Work together on something. Touch each other. Strive for balance. Communicate with some intensity. Talk about why you're together. Be easygoing. Do not be judgmental. Find a lover or keep your love life strong. If you want a relationship or want to keep one, constantly think about things to do to get what you want. Are you ready for a relationship? Some people aren't. Some people are better off alone. Have your own identity before you go looking for love. Know what you want out of a relationship. Be a good speaker and come off as a naturally comfortable person. If this is not natural to you, learn how to do it and practice by socializing. I learned how to deal with people by working retail, sometimes at my father's meat store starting at about 10 years old. When you deal with 100 people a day, you learn to be quick and cool with anyone. Everybody has some fear of getting close, getting rejected, your partner finding out that you have stinky feet or something like that. You have to know that a relationship is faith in the future. That's all. Everybody goes in on uncertainty. If we did not act just because we were uncertain, nothing would ever get done. What level of compatibility is good enough for you? We're all loners, universes apart anyway. I can accept distance, but for me it's immorality, a person who lies, steals, manipulates, etc. You decide to commit, then stay the course as long as your partner is cool. There are deal breakers. For me, it's domestic violence on me even though I'm a guy. Plenty of women think they can hit guys and it's not a crime, but it is. I've dealt with theft, but the thing that gets me is when someone wants to make you their bitch or their slave or they boy. They expect you to do things for them just because they demand it now. There are plenty of women like that and they use sex as a tool. If someone threatens to withhold sex, it's time to leave the relationship. For me, it's just about being loving. I don't think it necessarily is that because I was brought up in a Catholic home. I think it's common sense. Be loving and nice. If someone cannot reciprocate and constantly has demands and conditions, leave. I wouldn't sacrifice my self-respect for a relationship. My first obligation is to love as God made me to live. If somebody tries to cramp my style and stop me from being who I am, I won't take it. When you see red flags that can lead to a split, you either try to fix it or leave. Many couples are wishy-washy for years on end. Sometimes they divorce. Sometimes they stay in a half-assed relationship for life. If the relationship is not working, don't force it. It's better to be happy alone than be with someone you don't really like. I know a lot of people live in a comfortable mundane marriage where the wife is being taken care of financially and the husband has a wife that he uses for SoCal events, but what a cheap, horrible way to live. I used to walk the paths when I lived in a subdivision and I'd see these mundane looking people there and I knew they weren't having great sex or great relationships because they looked so pale and unhealthy. Look good for your spouse. Don't get overweight. I believe breakups and divorces are great because they prove that you weren't meant for that person. Don't get depressed. Be happy. Rekindle a relationship if it's worth it. Take life as it comes.